On the beautiful but remote and rugged Stang Ranch, Texas, deep in a hidden valley, there runs a secret stretch of creek bed beneath whose waters one may find mysterious patterns seemingly hewn into the stone by the tread of an enormous beast. Nay, and not just one, for these are the fossil tracks of the mighty dinosaurs which once hunted on this untamed land. What a priceless paleontological treasure! We had to examine them, record them, perhaps even uncover more of them. Oh, what a long wait we endured for the track bed to become dry, but finally the perfect day arrived. The Paluxy Riverbed in Somerville County, Texas is famous for its dinosaur tracks. These, however, are not in the Paluxy, but in a secret tributary of the Cross Branch Creek, known as Tanglefoot Canyon, or King Kong's Grotto. They were discovered by my brother Pinckney in the 1970s. At that time, the area was accessible only on horseback. A failed attempt to extract one track was made by a well-meaning individual in the early 1980s, but we do not intend to duplicate that mistake. I've swept out the dinosaur track area here and exposed like 4 more tracks. They were just filled with gunk, and as I swept, more became exposed. That's a pretty clear one. It was completely covered with leaves. There's another one that was covered up, and that's a really clear one. That's a good one. There's some deformated ones over here. But then here's one that we have been planning to cast. And there's some other marks that were just smudgy ones. Here's the one I've been working on today, trying to learn how to clean it, you know. This is the way it looks when it hasn't been monkeyed with. And then there's another really clear one up here. It may not look like much in this light, but, oh, and there's one that I didn't think of as a track, but now that it's swept out, this is the clearest they've been probably ever. Acrocanthosaurus, almost certainly. They were apparently quite numerous in these parts when it was a seashore, which it was for a long time. Damn it knows what he's doing. Not sweeping dirt, that's what I'm not doing. I ain't sweeping no dirt. That's the craziest thing I ever seen you monkey people do. Sweeping dirt, and then sweeping rocks. When the dirt's gone off the rocks, you're sweeping the rocks with no dirt on them. Crazy. That pretty lady up there knows what's happening too. She's sitting up there in the shade, drinking Kool-Aid. Sure is pretty out here. It's fun being a dog. We discovered 5 fresh dinosaur tracks. A dinosaur walked through and made 5 new tracks. That's true that I spent all afternoon sweeping and brushing the tracks of the area off, and when Princess Wee shoveled away the leaves, we found 2 more tracks. So yeah, but fresh, new, 5 of them, dinosaur tracks, making a total of 9 good ones from a series, I think originally in that track bed of 19, some of which didn't take. So, man, I'm so excited. Tomorrow we will cast the tracks, I believe, I hope. I most fervently hope. We need more plaster, though. We're going to need a bigger plaster. A lot bigger plaster. Doing the deed. We're doing the deed. It reminds me of the dump I have this morning.
See if you could keep it in a coil, maybe we could use it, reuse it, just like that.
You can tell that it still has moisture in it.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's hardened, but
yet it has moisture in it still.
It's not exactly budging on first tug. Well, this is a fine mess we've gotten us into. Right, one thing we didn't think about. Crowbar or hammer, or both, or something. Shovel. It does move with the application of the handy shovel, so it's not like completely down with suction. So maybe I can just, no. Oh wait, okay. Okay.
Woohoo!
It is quite heavy. Oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna lift it up and over. That. Oh my God, we did it! Princess Wee, we did it! We made a dinosaur cast.
Yay!
Yay! We weren't a stupid idiot after all. We did it. We cast this track and made this plaster mold of it, and it worked.
It
didn't
worked.
Screw up. The clay worked. The plaster worked as immediately as
all
we were
worked.
doing. Dinosaur tracks.
Yep.
Well, dinosaur track and a cast of
And
a
a
dinosaur.
cast of one.
A cast of one. After prep and after. howdy. We decided to do another track. This is one Princess Wee had been cleaning out the other day, and it's a purdy one. What I wanted to mention is something that's easy to forget about this process. When you're putting the Vaseline down, which you have to do to keep the plaster from sticking to the rock, it makes your hands cramp up. It's a funny kind of a cramp feeling because it's one of those things your fingers aren't usually doing. You end up with your fingers pressed in this funny way as you smear. It's kind of fun, but after about 20 minutes of it, your hand wants to ball up or run away or something. But as you can see, it is sort of fun, to smear Vaseline all over a dinosaur track. We left this one a lot more natural looking than the previous one. The previous one, I kind of picked all of this clay and lichen stuff off of the rock. But now we're going to try to let this one be more pure.
I wanted that texture. I thought that texture looked like dinosaur skin.
Well, yeah, well, it is. See, here's what happened on this track. One dinosaur was laying here dead, and his skin made that impression. And then this other dinosaur came along and ate him, and he was standing right in the middle of the dead. I would deduce that it would be the creature known as the Brontosaurus.
I see.
Yeah, that's one of the better known dinosaurs, the Brontosaurus. These creatures were so huge that if they left the water, the weight of them would crush their bones. No creature could ever support it. No leg bones could support a thing that size.
What?
So they had to spend all their time in the water. Actually, that is what they used to think about the Brontosaurus, which actually was not that much bigger than an elephant, and elephants are quite nimble. And it turns out they just, in the days of Cope and Marsh, they just simply didn't know that much. They hadn't seen that many skeletons. They didn't know how to analyze the motion, the creatures. They didn't have as many footprints, which showed that they were quite nimble creatures indeed. Their size matters, but they could still be big, warm-blooded, quite swift things, especially this guy. Here's a nice little stretch of it before it's been monkeyed with. I usually go over it a couple of times because you always miss stuff. There's that same section after a lot more texturing. Get this. Now I gotta do this wall over here. We'll be ready to pour the mud. It seems to be about as level as I can get it. The plaster's so thick. It gets thick fast. I mean, it's like, I guess the minute you get it to that consistency, you have to pour it. And no indecision, no hesitance, no reluctance. You just got to pour it. I guess we can just sit and wait for an hour and then get the prying shovel. We did bring the prying shovel, did we?
Yeah.
You're about to see something that very few people ever get to see, and that's a dinosaur track being exposed for the first time. So come over here and stand over here, and we'll point, and you look down like I am at this depression here as I get the dirt out of the end of this, where I noticed there was a hole. This started out as just a smudge of a hole here.
Yeah.
But then, well, as I say, everything starts to look like a dinosaur track, and maybe this is a case of that. But look, as I break this clay off, we start to see that familiar outline, and it's the same size, and it's in line with the other ones. This is why I believe that there was a whole family, or at least a gaggle of teenage female acrocanthosauruses frolicking around here or chasing a little protoceratops. That's my pet theory right now, because, you know, when you do this, you like to envision the animal, what was going on. And it was probably a sandy beach sort of place, and with about to have a serious change in the weather. And these lovely teenage acrocanthosaurus females, girls, teenagers, because these aren't full adult-sized tracks. I think they're if it's an acrocanthosaurus, as my son pointed out, you have no idea. It could be any kind of theropod. It was like, I know. But Glen Rose is famous for the acrocanthosaurus, and by golly, that's what it's going to be. And pretty females, too, at that. Now, let's get this track, if that's what it is. There's a lot that really is best to just do with your fingers. My fingernails have been getting a good workout. See, look, this stuff breaks away after you work it for a while. It's organic material and clay. It's dirt from the river. Look at that, a whole bunch of it's coming out back here. Again, this exercises muscles in your fingers that you don't use regularly. Now, it could be that I've just painted a picture of a dinosaur track in plain ordinary rock just by being selective, but I think we do. It's not a real clear one, but look at it.
I see it.
Well, here's his heel, there's a middle toe, and there's the two side toes here.
Right.
That's and it's pointing the same direction as all the other ones, except for two. I think there are two that are larger and pointing the other way, and maybe that's boys flirting. There's a big boy track flirting with these teenage girl acrocanthosaurus tracks. I don't know that one's worth casting because it's kind of iffy, but that, by golly, we exposed another one, and it didn't look like a dinosaur track a minute ago.
No, it didn't.
And see, there's a little hole there that like wanted to be a track. There's some messy stuff here that, who knows. Now that one over there I think might be a track going the other way. It might just be a smudge, but it looks kind of like it's, there's the bottom and there's the toes. He's pointing the other way. See, it might be one of the boys.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Dang nabbit. Bending down didn't hurt at all. It's just standing back up that's the problem.
It's the moment of truth. Okay, first the
sacred box removal. Shalakundala de Basoya. Comes right off. Oh, wait a minute. Some of the stuff is still kind of clayey. Maybe we spoke too soon. Hey! We're not going to be picking this up today.
Why?
Feel of it. It's just not dry. It's simply not dry. Well, that was a blow to high. So what we're hoping is that if we just leave this block here with the soft surface gradually drying, hopefully during the morning, but maybe overnight some varmint will walk across it and we'll get another set of footprint casts from a possum or a raccoon or an armadillo. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Or a dinosaur. That would be the ultimate meta track cast with a fresh dinosaur track that happened by chance while the plaster was drying overnight. Not the nocturnal modern Acrocanthosaurus, or Gaius Gudus they call, because they evolved the power of invisibility. They're only visible when you're just looking behind you like that. You at the corner of your eye, you go like this. And you just barely glimpse the Gaius Gudus. Well, maybe that's the invisible Acrocanthosaurus, and maybe we'll get a footprint of him on this cast of an ancient Acrocanthosaurus footprint. I'm sure it's an Acrocanthosaurus, has to be. So, that ought to be good, or something. Well, we came back the next day, and it's still wet. The plaster on the top layer is still wet. It was a poor mixing job there at the end on my part. But while we let the sun hopefully dry it, we're going to try to make a grid, to mark off a grid in 1 foot squares over this whole fossil bed using chalk dots. I don't know whether we're going to end up drawing lines or not. I'd rather not. So that we can make a drawing that's accurate of the pattern of the tracks as we see them. And simply because that seems like the scientific thing to do. Meanwhile, that thing over there, that's the one we did 3 days ago. And it's still a little creamy on top. The grid. The grid is finished. That's the important thing. Finally, this track over here, we think it's ready to be pried up and moved. It took 3 days to get dry enough, hopefully. We had to use the shovel to pry up one edge of it very carefully and break the suction. So,
Yeah.
okay, now, so I can get Oh my God. Oh my God. We're not stupid idiots after all. We did it. This is our second track casting. And here is the cast that took 3 days to dry, but it seems to be perfectly good.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do track number 3. Ooh, it's naked. It feels hard as heck. Heck is hard. I guess we need to use the shovel.
Yeah, Chevalian. Here you go, shovel man.
There's a shoveling spot here. Prying spot. Using my prying stick. Well, it's kind of... Oh, it's budging. Looks pretty good. 3 tracks. Oh, what a beautiful day. The end of a beautiful day because our 3rd cast worked. And luckily the Vaseline seems to be fading into the rock or whatever. It's getting less pronounced.
Yeah.
There are our 3 tracks and 1 cast of the last one. Looking good. And the grid has been completed. As you can see, there's these numbered grid lines that are actually fairly accurate. And I've been able to make a drawing of everything that I think is a track. Primitive but effective.